Hi everyone, in this video we're looking at the Sec 1 Math Chapter 12, which we are looking at Statistical Data Handling. Okay, so in this worksheet here we will learn how to construct and interpret data from different types of diagrams that you have seen in primary school, and we'll learn how do we construct and interpret data. So let's look at a brief introduction on why this topic is important first. Okay, this topic is called statistics. What does statistics mean? Okay, statistics are just numbers that people see, and we use statistics to make informed decisions through the gathering, displaying, and interpreting of data so that people can use these numbers to make decisions wisely. So I'll show you some simple examples. If you look at this page over here, these are some statistics about Singapore. You can see that maybe over here, this is Singapore's population through a pie chart over here. You can see that there are so many different types of diagrams that show you different statistics about Singapore. And why this topic is important is because we want to use what you have learned on all these different diagrams to learn how do you analyze statistics so that you are able to understand when you are given such diagrams in the future. Okay, so let's go back to this page over here. So this is on chapter 12 worksheet 1. Okay, so in order to get statistics, we must first collect data. So you can see that there are many different ways of conducting data. Okay, we have over here conducting surveys. This is how people can collect data. They can conduct experiments. They can use observations to see and observe if there's anything that they can collect data on. And the last one is they can also search the statistical data. So for example, just now I just searched Singapore statistics. Then you see so many different diagrams that pop up that shows you the statistics in Singapore. Okay. So let's look at example number 1. Okay, Jason wants to find out how much money a university student spends each week. He designs this questionnaire here and he gives to people. Okay, so now I want you to look at this questionnaire first. Spend 2 minutes. Think about what do you think is wrong with this questionnaire, and how can you make this questionnaire or this survey better for people to answer. Okay, I'll give you about 1-2 minutes. You can pause the video here first. Okay, and once you are ready, you can continue playing this video. Okay, so let's look at 2 mistakes in this questionnaire. So if I look at this, right, imagine I give this questionnaire here to somebody. How much do you spend? Would this person know how to answer? So one of the mistakes is that he never say how much you spend in how long. He never say the time frame. Can it be how much you spend in 1 day, or 1 week, or 1 month? We don't know that. So what is missing over here is actually, let's write that down on your worksheet over here. Okay, mistake number 1. No time frame, meaning that I don't know, this question is asking me how much money did I spend in a month or a year or each week. So over here, e.g., for example, you can say that 1 day or 1 week. This is very unclear in this questionnaire given to us. Okay. The next mistake over here, you can also see that this over here says $50, $100, $200. What if I spend $70? Which option do I take? So actually, I think what he means over here is that this answers here should be a range of numbers. For example, number 2, okay, options should be a range of numbers. Range. What does range mean? So for example, the first option can be, e.g., okay, for example, first option can be $0 to $50. Then the next one should be $51 to $100, and so on and so forth. So it's much clearer for each person doing this questionnaire. Which option do you exactly take? Okay. So these are 2 very simple mistakes. You can also think about, there are many different other possible answers. For example, maybe here is 100 to 200, while here is 50 to 100. The range should be fixed. Maybe every $50 you take 1 box, so that is much more clearer. Okay, so so this is just example 1. Once you're done, I would like you to go and do workbook 1B, question 1 and question 3. Very simple questions on the collection of data. Okay, this will be your assigned homework for this part here. Okay. Alright, let's now move on to page number 2. Okay, page number 2 here looks at the organization of data. So we actually usually use tables, or we call this tallies, to help us count and organize the results we obtain from any kind of survey or questionnaire. So for example, you can see over here, this table here tells us how many students like which is their favorite sport. So if let's say I got one student, I'll put a count here, 1, 2, 3, 4, then I cross. This represents 5 students. So you see this tally here helps us to count how many students choose their favorite sport to be either one of these options over here. Okay, so this is what we call tally. Okay, and then after we have collected data, we must determine what is the best and most suitable way to display the information that we collect. So today's the first form of data we'll look at is called the frequency table. What is the frequency table? Okay, frequency tells us how many times each category occurs, or how many times something happened. So for example, let's look at this diagram over here. Okay, this diagram table shows the number of goals scored by a soccer team in 30 matches. So let's say if there's the first match they score 1 goal, I'll put 1 over here. Second match I score 0 goal, I put 1 over here. Third match I score 1 goal, I put another 1 over here. So I keep counting until I reach 30, and I then count how many goals in total for each match the team score. And this frequency here is just counts how many tally over here. Okay, and this data helps us to count how many goals, in this case, what is the frequency of the data over here. Okay, so if I look at this diagram, can you spend maybe 1-2 minutes, think about what do you think is the advantage and disadvantage of using a table to represent data? Is this the best form of way to represent data? Are there better ways we can represent this data? Or what are the negative parts about using such a table? Okay, spend 1-2 minutes, pause this video first, and once you have thought this through, then press play to continue playing this part here. Okay. Alright, so I hope you have already thought about this. Okay, the advantage of using a frequency table is that actually frequency table, when I look at this, you can see that this is very easy to see. Once I look at this, it is very clear what is the frequency number based on the tally over here. You can see this is very clear. So over here, the advantage of this table is that it is easy to interpret and gives a clear pattern of data. Okay. Okay, so over here you can see that this is very simple to observe and analyze. Okay, but however, let's say what are the potential disadvantage of this? Okay, let's say right, maybe if this instead of goal, this one becomes maybe some other context like number of hours something on something, then it will not just be 0, 1, 2, it can be 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4. You see, so over here in this case over here, for continuous data that needs to be grouped, meaning that let's say number of hours between 0 to 1, then it is harder to go and find what is the actual value. So actually you understand what is this advantage by looking at example 3 later, but for now you can just write, okay, for group data, okay, actual value is lost. So it might be very hard for you to visualize, so don't worry, we'll look at example 3 to understand what this disadvantage mean. Okay, example 3. Okay, so later you can come back to this to understand what am I talking about for this part here. Alright, let's now move to page number 3. Okay, so you can see that now one of the big ideas in this chapter is really on diagrams. We use different kinds of diagrams, such as the frequency table, to organize and display data in a way that is very clear for anyone that is reading these statistics to understand what are we talking about. Okay, so let's now look at example number 2. Okay, the following list shows the PE grades of 36 students ranging from A to E. Okay, so over here, they say represent the data using a frequency table. Can I now give you about, let's say, maybe about 2 minutes? Go and count. Okay, I'll show you how to count. I got 36 letters over here. I want to count. Tally means for each letter I put a 1 over here to count this number of grades. So over here, let's see. If I have the letter A, I have one A over here, I'll put 1. I see another A over here, I put 2. I see another A over here, I put 3. I see another A over here, I put 4. I see another A over here, I put 5. I think that's all the A's I have. So therefore, I count this tally over here, 5. Frequency is 5. Okay, you can do the same thing for B. I use a different color to visualize. Let's say B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So when I do the tally, it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Therefore, the frequency will be, in this case, will be equals to 8. Okay, can I now give you about 1 minute, go and complete the rest of this table, pause this video first. Okay, then once you're done, continue playing this video to check whether your answer is correct or wrong. Okay, so now I'll just finish up this part, so you should have counted correctly. So I'm gonna just quickly run through the answer. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 3, 4, 5, 6. So answer should be 5, 8, 10, 7, 6. Your total should add up to 36. Okay, please cross check whether the answer is correct or wrong for this frequency table. Alright. Okay, let's now move on to example number 3 on page 4. Okay, so over here likewise, now let's say this is now I'm given to me the time taken by each student to finish their homework on a certain day. So this is the number of hours each student take to finish their homework. So now let's count. Okay, whenever you have a number that's between 0 and 1, I put a tally here. If it's between 1 and 2, I put it here. Okay, this inequality sign means it includes the number 1. So if I have 1 hour, it goes under here. If I have 2 hours, it goes under here. Exactly 3 hours, it goes under here. And exactly 4 hours, it goes under here. Okay, so let's look at the tally and we do it step by step. Okay, tally. So first one, 2.5. It will go under here, between 2 and 3. Okay, I cross out so I know I'm already done with this. Okay, next one, 1.3. It goes between 1 and 2 here. Okay, so this is a faster way of how we can do it step by step. Okay, next one, 2.6 under here, cross out. 2.4 under here, 1.8 under here, 3.7 between 3 and 4 here, 0.8 here, 2.6 here, 1.2, 3.2 under here, 3.3 under here, 1.7 under here, 2.0. Remember, 2 falls in under this range here that includes 2. So this will be a cross like this. 2, 3.8. It will be between 3 and 4. 2.9. It will be here. 1.1. Another one here. 2.1. 1.0. 1.0 falls between 0 and 1, which is over here. Okay. Then 1.0, I'll put a cross here. Okay, 2.5 here, 2.8 here, 0.7, 1.4, 0.9, 2.5, 2.1, 1.8, 1.3, 3.9, 2.8, and 3.0. Okay, so with that, you should be able to have the same number as me. Let's now, based on the tally here, I can now count the frequency. Here I have 4, 9, 12, and 5. Therefore, frequency should add up to 30 because I have 30 students in total. Alright, so this is how I calculate the frequency table and how I handle frequency tables using the form of a tally. You can see over here, going back to the disadvantage here, this number here is between 0 and 1. So it's very hard when I just look at this table over here, because this data is now grouped for all numbers between 0 and 1. I see 4. I know that there are 4 numbers between 0 and 1, but I don't know which number is 0.1. How many 0.2? How many 0.7? I wouldn't know because of this group data over here, which goes back to the disadvantage of using a frequency table, which is what we have gone through earlier over here. Alright, so this is the end of this part of this worksheet. Once you're done, I would like you to go back and do the workbook practice questions 1, 2, as well as the assignment questions 6 and 7, and we will go through this in class once you are done. Okay, so this is the end of the first part of this video.